Good evening, guys. Ken of Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for Sunday, June 26, 2022. This is a short one, only a couple of charts posted. We had an amazing true storytelling circle this morning with the Creativity 202 course. It was so good. I had to take an hour nap to process it all afterwards. I mean, it was really quite remarkable. Looking forward to Monday night's circle with the gang, 7 p.m. on Monday night for Creativity 202 students. That's the second session we've had out of 30, and it's just at this rate, I can't even imagine where we're going to be on less than 30. That was our consensus from this morning. It was pretty remarkable all the way around. I would also say Luke and Sanal in the UK have are going to open up their a trading room for coaching for a couple hours on Wednesday. So I'm going to get the details from them and circulate that around as a way to be transparent about their trading and to open it up to the world. That was one of the things came out of their creativity work was to stretch in that direction. So I'll send the details around when I can. First up, this is trades from Luke from Friday. So we got paid today. PSAR flip a little bit late, but you still take it anyway. And he goes with a standard risk box here, which is just below where the PSAR dot would be in the RL270. That feels normal and natural. Nice and easy recovery and exit. This is a possible short on the PSAR flip box. He waits till here, takes a quick scratch. And, that's the difference. That little period of time. I mean, this is good discipline to not take a 1 hour loss. But I would say on this when this opens here and starts taking off, we could probably take that, just scratch it there. Because that late entry and late exit erases the benefit of this late entry and pretty good exit. Very good re-entry. Got a Z3 excursion on 2 bars. That's the dragon horns. And so a 1, 2, 3 would be like right here. So we should get paid a little more on that. We might have taken it here or here instead of here. This is about a bar late on the re-entry. It went past Z2. We gave back a lot. A 1, 2, 3 exit would be there. So my feeling was we're just a little bit about a step slow across the board. He stayed out of the chop. Reasonable short. I'd like to see you not lose 0.4 on that gift of a Z3. This is like a fake one go to. So this is a great re-entry. And that's where we got paid. This is more like it. He gets a Z3 excursion and cashes the gift. That's what makes a difference in the day. And so you don't have to be perfect. As long as you keep firing. Probably called it a day there because otherwise we'd expect a short here on the PSAR flip, which would probably scratch, and then a CD here, and then probably scratch or a micro gain. And then when that doesn't even get through the dragon and fails again, this is that little wobble and fail pattern that we've been talking about for the last month. Is this piece right in here? You're already in the winter. And instead of being a big recovery and then a fail for a CD, what you get instead is it just wobbles a little bit and then starts to fail. And that's a much stronger signal to the downside. And you can see why that's the case. And then you get the Z3 excursion and then a 1, 2, 3 exit there would be indicated. And then here is your PSAR flip. and that one would pay off massively. So there was probably 7 or 8 R in this time window. But pleased to see that you got warmed up and tuned in and made it positive for the day. Even when he's not especially good, he's not losing money. So there's some slack and wiggle room in there. You don't have to be perfect on this stuff. So that's pretty good work. Here is his hourly, 8 hourly, and daily on the Aussie. And we talked about this yesterday, that when you put the these various frames in on the higher time frames, something like that, and you're working on a, let's just call it some kind of wrist box in here. On his 5-minute charts, he's making his money on these kinds of moves in here. And what we're doing with these higher time frames is identifying critical support and resistance, knowing that on his 5-minute chart, if that hourly resistance gets broken, it would not be unusual to see that thing burst. And this is where that move where he ends up getting large multiples. Like you can see that over in here, when those resistance bands break, you get a sharp run up. You get a sharp run up outside of the Z3 and then the harsh sell off. So we got to be ready for those excursions past Z3 and capture them as the gift that they are. Now this one is on a daily, and that's what that daily move, this little up and down, looks like on an 8 hour. So we got to be able to recognize those key resistance and support levels from other time frames that are influenced, because the challenge for us is that we get so accustomed to looking at our time frame and how things work, and we think that everybody's looking at those. Well, most people are not looking at the time frame that you're looking at. Each of them has their different time frames: T2, T1, T3, T4, whatever their time frame is. Every one of those folks, or most of them, are locked into just their little worldview that's geared towards that time frame. And when their time frame constraints break, when that support resistance breaks, they get surprised because suddenly that it didn't fail where it always used to fail. It just continued to go. And that's a surprising move. The reason it's surprising is because nobody in their time frame is looking at it. It's these other time frames that are treating that as the beginning trigger for a much bigger move. So what we're doing with this experiment here is that while Luke is working on the 5-minute, we're taking a look at those hourly, 8 hour, and daily bars to see where those special support and resistance levels are. So if this thing breaks out from here and triggers those, then he's going to be ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. That if it breaks above this congestion zone, everybody on the 8 hour is going to say, oh, this thing could run up and hit the dragon and the top of the RL10, and that thing will move just as fast as it moved here on the way down. It wasn't until it got into this area and people started getting all tactical and used to that dimension, that trading range. When that breaks out, everybody that was used to it channeling gets surprised, and then all their stops in here get hit, and that launches that like a rocket ship up to the next support and resistance level. And if that one breaks through those two, this thing is going to run just the way it ran here. It's going to run north in a hurry, at least to Z3, and then up to the peak of the dragon and the RL10. So we're looking at these other price levels as magnets or targets or resistance bands, and we're trying to use this multiple time frame in order to inform us about the possibility of large extended moves. So he's still taking the small levels of risk, but he's ready and prepared for large outsized moves. Like you can see, if this one breaks, look out below, because that's going to break on an 8-hour and on a daily. So he better have 3 positions on this thing raging southward in the same way we would hope to see that kind of move down here if that support level breaks. So that's what we're trying to do with those different time frames. And I think that was everything that we had posted. So we'll cut that here, and we will be ready to see you tomorrow. I'm back to work finalizing the Sniper Daily Report, the extracted version. So take good care, and we shall see you tomorrow.